Good afternoon, everyone. We have gone through many uh, options, tools in Photoshop, and today we will continue with it. And I'll try my best to finish most of the part that is required for this course inside your Adobe Photoshop. So, as you know, that we have covered already the text element of multimedia, and now we are working on the image element of multimedia, and we are using for both of these elements Adobe Photoshop. So, once we will finish everything related to image, then we will going to start the next element, which is hopefully the audio. And we will start with the audio and we'll see how the audio element works inside the multimedia. Now we have a couple of things left inside Photoshop that I will try my best to finish today. And not if today, then maybe by next class we will be we will be finishing those parts. So just like always, I will open up any one of these images. This one, let me open it up. And now we'll work on image adjustment. Now there are different sort of image adjustments here. And before doing any sort of image adjustment, let's do some like selection and copying and pasting. So I will open another image here. So let's say we want to copy this image in a circular form from here and paste it somewhere here. So it will create a new layer here whenever we will paste this. So if I will go to the family, I will go here, take my elliptical marquee tool, and let's say I will copy only on only his face. So if I will draw with the elliptical marquee, it will be basically ellipse. But if I will press shift key, it will be a perfect circle. So I will just make it a perfect circle and move around. Okay. So moving is quite easy because once you select, you can move your selection, but you have to make sure you are in the marquee mode, because if you will go to the move mode and try to move the selection, it will not move the selection, it will move the image that is selected. So make sure you are in the marquee mode if you want to move the marquee itself. So now this is what I want. I will go to edit. I will copy it. I will go to my BH image. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can see what's going on. So this much is good. Now it shows me it is 97%. Still, I can make it a little bit more bigger, but I will get the scroll bars and the image itself will get a little zoomed in, which I don't want. I want it to be bigger as much where I don't see any scroll bars. Now I can go to the edit and I will press paste, and whatever I copied is on the screen. Now I don't want marquee to be applied over here because I already did what I wanted. I just want to move it wherever I want. So I will choose the move tool. But at the same time, you can see I have two layers now, background and this image. Okay. And this image, the name is layer one. So I will rename this to man, for example. And now I can move it around with the moving here. But it's quite bigger. I don't want this image to be this big. So what I can do at this stage is that I can click here, show transform controls, and I can make it smaller. And you can see that I'm not pressing any shift key on the keyboard. I'm just making it directly smaller. And as soon I will make it smaller, it will show me the like my like desired size, and it will give me these two options: agree or disagree, cancel or commit. Shortcut is ESC on the keyboard, and shortcut for this is enter on the keyboard. So if I'm not satisfied, so I can cancel it. I can press ESC, which is escape on the keyboard, or if I'm satisfied with the image, I can just press uh, enter on the keyboard or just click on this check mark. And once I'm done, I can move it around. And if I don't want to apply any more changes, I can simply uncheck this show transform control. The shortcut for that is Control T on the keyboard. So if I press Control T on the keyboard, I will get the same thing. Okay? And when I'm done, like resizing, I can press enter and it's gone by itself. So I don't have to press this button. So shortcut is Control T, and you don't have to keep on like toggling this on and off. So Control T is more ideal. I usually use Control T. So let's move this image and make it a little smaller in a place where there is an empty area, somewhere here. Okay. Then I can go back here, take my marquee tool again. Now this time I will select this person's face. I will press Shift on my keyboard, move around my selection, edit, copy, or Control C. Simply Control C, Control V, Control T for transform. Make it smaller as you want it to be. Right. Press enter. And I will call this one man. Now I will continue and I will go to the I will select now this lady's face. Okay. So I will press shift key and I will select this lady's face with the baby. Control C, Control T, and make it smaller. Then maybe I will put here. And I will call it lady. And now I want to copy this image of this lady. Control C, Control V, Control T. Smaller. So I have arranged all these. Let me rename it to old lady. Always better to rename your layer so that you stay on track. Otherwise, what will happen? You will lose your track, and you don't. In between, maybe if you have a lot of layers, so you might not be able to trace back which layer is what. So it's ideal to give them specific names. Now, every layer over here have order. Like the man, this one is on top of the background. Old man is on top of the man layer, but it is behind this layer. Okay. And old lady is the toppest layer. If I will go to the old man and take my moving tool and move this, you can see that it is on top of this layer and it's showing it is on the top. But this is hidden because it is the bottom layer. So the layer order matters a lot. Now, if I will go and move it here, you can see that it is under this image. This means because the lady layer is on top of this old man layer. And as this is the toppest layer, so wherever I move the old lady layer, it will be always on top of everything. And as background layer is the bottom layer, so it will be always on the bottom of every layer. Now, let's see some adjustments. Now, there are different ways we can apply adjustment. Applying adjustment on specific layer, applying adjustment on all the layers, or applying adjustment directly on the image itself. So different ways to do that. So let's see first how to apply adjustment directly on the image itself. So first we have to select the layer on which we want to apply the adjustment. For example, I want to apply adjustments on the background layer. So I will just click on the background layer. I will go to the image option, and then I will go to adjustment. Now here there are different sort of adjustments. So you can, I will show you a few of them, but later on your own you can search, you can work on uh, all of them and see what they actually give you the result, because they all give a different sort of result, but they are very simple to use. You just have to click, sorry, you have to click and you will get a box like this in front of you. And once you have this box, you can increase the brightness of the image, because the one that I clicked is brightness and contrast. So it's on the background. So it will only apply on the background. Here is the preview option. Preview will allow you to see the result instantly. So if I will increase the brightness, you can see the background brightness is changing. If I will decrease it, background dark brightness will decrease. Apart from that, we have contrast. It is the black amount in the image, so it can make the image brighter or darker the way you want it to act. Okay. So this is how you can adjust, and you can see how it looks like. Now, preview is a good tool to see before and after. If I will uncheck this, it will show me the image without this result. If I will uncheck it, you can see how it was before, and when you click on preview, it will show me how it is after. Before and after, before and after. Now I can press OK here, and then I can go to any other layer. Like suppose I want to apply another adjustment here. So I can go to the image, adjustment, and use the brightness contrast again, or this time let's choose levels. So if I will choose levels, it will be applied on the man layer, on this layer. So what it allow you to do is that here you have black in your image, here you have the white in your image. So if I will push this side, it will push the black of the image. So if I will go all the way here, so it will increase the black. Here is the white. So if I will push the white to the other side, you can see the white of the images. So you can balance it according to what you need. Basically, the middle one here is the midtone, or sometimes it is known as gamma. So here is the black and white both together. So if you want to balance it, you just have to push this. I'm satisfied with the black now. Let's try the white. Now I'm satisfied with the white. Now the midtones, I can just move this middle left or right. That I can do here. So you can also see review before and after. Other thing I can do here is that, let me move it back to where it was before. Here. One is the center, the gamma. So this is 0, 1, 255. Now I can choose any color here and it will apply the levels directly on it. So simply what you need to do is that instead of changing here, if I will move my mouse, you can see there is an eyedropper. Now this eyedropper will always show you. So if I click on the background of this image, like this green background, once I do that, you can see the green color is activated here. Now if I will work on it, you will notice that it is more affecting the background than the foreground. Okay. So you have different options, okay, to set it up. Like suppose if I want to take this is a black point. So suppose I like this black color. So I can click here. So it will adjust that. It will choose that black area. And then you can choose that black area and adjust that black area. Okay. Now this one is the gray value, means like the midtone. Okay. So maybe this is my mid-tone, the skin. Usually skin are the mid-tones, the gray area. So if I click it here, it will show me the skin area. But as you know, it is a colored image, so it might give you unexpected results sometimes. And this is the white area, so white, maybe the shirt is white, so I will click on the white, so I can work on the white area. So this way I can also work. So once I'm satisfied, I'll just press OK. Old man, I will go to the layer adjustment and I can choose any one of these. There are a lot. Okay. So you can check all of them one by one. I will just show you hue and saturation. These are like basically divided into categories. This is basically the darkness and brightness. This is about the colors. This is like some channels. Okay. These are for tonings basically. And this is basically replacements. So these are different categories over here. Now, if I will go to the hue and saturation, it will give me a couple of options here. Hue is the color like combination here. So at this point, I'm in the middle, which is the actual color. Just notice what happens if I move it. If I move it, you can see that the color is now moved to the purple area. The middle area is the one that will show here. So you can see image have now the skin have now purple tone. So if I will go here, now I am the blue. So its skin will have blue tones. So I can move these tones and everything just like I want. Maybe I don't want to move it. I will keep it 0. So it will be as it is. Now saturation is what it is, the amount of color you have. As much I will increase the saturation, the amount of color will increase. As much I will reduce it, amount of color will decrease. So if I will go back, if I will go to some place like -100, you will see amount of color will reduce a lot. And hence, when there is no color, amount of color is completely reduced. There is no color, so image will become black and white. I'll keep it 0. Lightness is what to make the color, the image overall darker or overall brighter. It's not about the tone, just like brightness on contrast or level. It's just like the overall image. So I will keep this one to 0. So this is, I will not apply anything here. I'll just cancel it. So this is how you can get most of the parts here. Now invert, what it will do, it will turn this into a negative. From positive to negative. It will invert my colors. Sometimes it is useful. So maybe if you want, you can look these. Check on your own all of these. You will get a really nice effects with it. Desaturate means completely remove the saturation. Saturation, as I told you, is basically what is the amount of color. So if it will desaturate, amount of color will be reduced and there will be no colors, which will make the image black and white. So let me undo this, Control C. The other very interesting one that I use most of the time for matching images is the match color. So what I do is that if I'll go to the match color, it will give me this option. Here is my source. So I want to match the color of this image with the background. So it looks like it belongs to this environment. This is basically you use when you are combining two images, like you want a person and you will cut the image of that person and you want him to stand over here, but the colors are different and you want to match the colors. So basically you will use this option to match the color of that person with the background. So same thing I want to do here. I want to match the color of this image with the background. So in the source, I will choose my image name. The image name here is what? bh.jpg. So I will choose bh.jpg. As soon as I will choose it, it will give me all layers in this image what I'm using. And the one that I want to match with is background. So I will go to the layer, choose background. And now it is matching with the background. But if you think the color is too harsh, so you can neutralize it. So when you neutralize it, so it will get a little bit softer, a little subtle. Otherwise, if I uncheck it, I have some other options here. Fade. What does the fade do? It will start bringing up the original color back a little bit. So I don't want it to be completely 100% back, maybe this much. Okay. So I can reduce that. Now, if you think the background color is too high and reflecting on this image, there is a color intensity. You can reduce the color intensity or increase the color intensity. So in this case, I will just reduce a little. Luminance is the brightness of the background color reflecting on this image. So I can brighten it or darken it. So darkening is not giving a good color, and luminance is like higher values giving me a good color. Now I can further fade it, but not too much, because if I will completely 100% increase it, I want is get the color matching option. So I will just go maybe till here. Also, in the end, I can try to use the neutralize just to see how it is affected. So let's turn on neutralize and reduce the fade. So I think this much it looks good. So I can press OK. Now it is matching sort of with the background. So this is how different adjustments work inside the Photoshop. Okay. So you can try each one of them one by one. Now, we actually use brightness, we use levels, everything to do toning, to do contrasting, to do the coloring, different colorization. However, these can be done automatically too. But the result will be not that good. Sometimes it looks good, sometimes it doesn't look good. So you have these three options here: auto tone, auto contrast, auto color. So here, if I will go to this lady image and I want to do an auto tone, so uh, what it will do is that it will calculate all the toning from the whole image, and whatever is the best result, it will apply over here. So if I will press auto tone, so oops, we are talking about this image, not this image. So let's go to old lady. Right? So if I go to adjustment auto tone, so notice what happens to this image. So it becomes a little bit uh brighter. So if I will show you the before and end result, so this is before, this is end. So result is quite subtle. It's not that harsh. So it's a quite good result. Let me undo it and then go to image and then go to auto contrast. So to see how contrast works on this. If I choose auto contrast, so you can see that kind of same, but a little different. And auto color, so you can see that it tried to match the color and try to fix the color basically. Before it was too reddish, but when it did the auto color, some like tone of green also is reflecting on the image. So the result was not too harsh, so it was good result. Now, from image adjustment, this is one method to do the image adjustment. Other way to apply adjustment is through the uh, the panels. Here you will see adjustment panels. If you don't see that, you just have to go to window and you have to turn on the adjustments here, and you will get the adjustment on your screen just like that. Same thing, you have brightness, levels, curves, exposure, vibrance, okay, hue, saturation, everything that we have here. And usually if you hover over it, you can see the names of them. Now, for example, I want to apply a brightness, okay, on the whole image. So I cannot go here and apply the brightness and contrast on the whole image. Before doing that, let me do one thing. Let me undo everything so that we are back as we were before. Okay, so I have removed all the adjustments here. Now, suppose if I want to apply brightness on contrast on the whole image, I cannot do from here, because if I will do from here, it will only apply the brightness on contrast on the selected layer. Okay, because I use the undo command, so the name also was so. Like I said, it will from here it will only apply on the selected layer. So the way to apply the brightness and contrast on the whole image is through this panel. What it do is that it creates an adjustment layer, and that adjustment layer will be affecting every other layer which is underneath it. If I will go on the top layer and click on brightness and contrast, so it will make the adjustment layer on the top of old lady. That means every other layer will be underneath, and it will be affecting all the layers. But if I will go to old man layer and create a brightness and contrast, so the brightness and contrast will be on the top of old man, and it will be only applying the effect on old man, man, and background, not these two, because these are not under the adjustment layer. So you have to make sure that to create an adjustment layer, first of all, you have to deselect everything, so that if you press here on the bright contrast, it automatically creates a layer on top of all the layers. To deselect, you just have to simply click anywhere where you don't have like layer. So if when you click that, everything will be deselected. So I will go to the brightness contrast, click on it. Automatically, you will see it is here. This is the adjustment layer. Now, adjustment layer is the same as we were using that. Now, if I will increase the brightness, you can see it is increasing the brightness, the contrast of the whole image, not the single layer. And the good thing about this is that once we are done, and if I'm not satisfied with the result, I can simply go back to this adjustment layer by clicking on this thumbnail. I will get the option again, and I can change it. I can reset it. I can delete it. So I can do so many things. Whereas if you were applying a direct adjustment to any image, any layer, you cannot go back and do the changes, because you will be only applying it directly, and it will be baked on the image, and you cannot change it. You cannot do the adjustment later on. But you're using the adjustment properties from the adjustment panel, you can do that from the property window. You just have to click the layer itself, and then you can do it. So if you want, if you can hide it, unhide it also, the before and after result, and kind of thing. Now, if I drag this one under old lady and lady, this adjustment layer, so you can see that now these two layers are not affecting, only these layers are affecting. Other than that, what I can do, I can add more than one. Suppose I want to apply now maybe hue and saturation. So here's the hue and saturation. And I don't want the hue and saturation on all the layers. I want the hue and saturation only on the old man. So I can drag this hue and saturation over the old man. And then I can do the adjustment here. Okay. And you can see these two are not affecting, because these two are over the adjustment layer. So I only want to apply on the old man. But now issue is that it's not only applying on the old man, it is also applying on the man and the background. The reason is that, as I told you before, whatever is underneath, the adjustment is applied on that. But in this case, I only want hue and saturation to be applied on the old man. So one thing I can do is that I can select the old man layer, and delete this one, this adjustment, hue and saturation adjustment, and apply the hue and saturation directly from here. So that will solve the problem. But if I want to change it later on, if I want to edit it later on, I cannot do that because the result will be baked. So how I can only affect this layer? To affect this layer, simple thing you can do is that there is an option called clipping. What the clipping do is that here's the clipping option. Clipping will only apply the effect on the layer which is directly underneath this. The direct underneath layer is old man. So it will only apply on this layer and it will ignore all the other layers. So if I will click on here, you will see that it is now showing this clipping option and it is only affecting old man, not man and background. So you can see that all the other layers are as it is, nothing is changed, only this layer is being affected. So if I will move it to man layer itself, so what it will do is that it will again reset. So if I will press this button again, so now it is only applying on this layer, but ignoring all the other layers. So this is one way of doing this in the Photoshop if you want to apply the adjustments and all those things. So I hope the adjustment part is clear. Now, there are some other effects inside Photoshop, and let me remove these adjustments here. Okay. So that those are called layer effects. Layer effects, basically, if you will go to any layer, you will see this option, this button here, which is known as add a new layer style. So this layer effect is basically known as the layer style. So every layer have this option here. Also, if you will go to the layer here, you can get the same option here, the layer effect option, the layer style option here. Okay, so here is the layer style, and you can see there are different layer styles here. Same thing, if you click on it, you can get the same layer style here. Now, there are different layer styles, and you can apply any one of these. But the way I like to apply is neither from here or from here. I will use the third method to apply the layer style, and that is to go on the extreme right on the layer where there is this area and double click it and double click here. So if I double click here, I will get the layer style option popped up like this. Now I am on the man layer here. So if I will apply any effect, it will be applied on the man. Okay. So later on, if I like this layer style, I can copy that layer style and I can paste it on the other layers. So very simple way to do it. And you can also go back and change if you like. So there are a couple of different layer styles here. There is bevel and emboss, which will make your image look like beveled and embossed. Let's first go to the styles. Then, then I will go to the rest of them. First is the style. Style is basically what is just like if you have a shape without an image, there you apply these kind of styles. So what it do, it will just apply style over it. So you can see that different styles it will apply here. But actually, I don't want it to be, so I can clear this off. I think you just have to cancel it and then double click. So then after styles, we have here blending modes. Blending mode, what it do is that it blends your image with the background. And there are different methods to do that. You can do the blending mode from here as well. And you can do from here as well. If I will choose darken, what it will do is that all the dark parts will be gone and the bright part will be staying there. Multiply, it will take the dark part, bright part, and merge it with the background. So basically, it's to blend with the background. So it looks like, so it makes it look like it belongs to the background exactly. So there are different number of ways you can do the uh, these uh, these one. Like hard light is giving very good result. It kind of looks like it belongs there. So you can choose whatever you want. But for this, and also luminosity is really good. It usually gives you the color of the background as one color. But I don't want to change anything right now here. Now there is an opacity. If I change the opacity, overall opacity of the image will be changed. Okay, then there is a fill opacity. A fill opacity, most of the time, you may find it very useful. What it do is that if I apply any effect from here, suppose bevel and emboss, if I will click here, okay, and then in the blending mode, if I will reduce the fill opacity, it will reduce the opacity of the image, but it will keep the opacity of the effect as it is. So fill opacity only reduces the transparency of the image, not the effect itself. Whereas opacity will reduce the effect of the transparency of the image and the effect altogether. Okay. Now let's go to the bevel and emboss and see what do we have here. So the first thing we do have here is the depth, how deeper the image itself is. If I will increase it, you can see that here's a preview. It will look like hard. If I will reduce it, you can see that it is becoming softer. Okay. And there is a size. Size, I can increase it or decrease it. In this case, if I will decrease it, it looks more meaningful. It looks more like a button itself. And if you think the depth is too harsh, so you can decrease or increase depending on your choice. Maybe I will make it a little deeper. Now, direction here is up. Means like the light is coming from top, from this area. If I will use down, the light will be coming from the bottom area. So you can see that it shows light is coming from the bottom area. Now there are different bevels. The one I'm using here is inner bevel. Now before going to the bevel style, I have here soften. So edge you can see is like very sharp. So if I will increase the softness, it will make my edge softer and it will almost look like a button. Now there are styles and there is technique. So right now I have a smooth technique. Then there is a chisel hard, will make it look harder. Chisel soft, it will make it look hard and soft both at the same time. So I usually use chisel soft because I get overall good result. Then I have different styles. Now inner bevel, this is called inner bevel. There is outer bevel. It will bevel the outer area of the image. Okay, like it will look like it is raised from the ground. Now if I will go back here, I can make it emboss. It will look like it is embossing and also it is basically raising out from the ground. Like if you want to do some embossing effect, then pillow emboss it like it's like a pressed, and it will give you this sort of a outer ring around. Now stroke emboss, it will give you actually a stroke, and then it will create an emboss. So you can do a lot of different things here with this. So every result will be different. So if I will changes here, so my result will be a little different. Here is the light, where the light is falling here. So you can change the direction of the light. So many changes you can do. Now in the bevel and emboss, you have secondary effects. There is contour, okay, for contouring. So usually it doesn't show much of the effect. Maybe if you, yeah, if you change the graph, this means uh it Like there is no smoothness, there is no blend. It's linear, all same from top to bottom. Then we have half round. It gives you smoothness. So as soon I change to this one half round, you can see a result will be a little different. So every contouring option will give you a different sort of result. Okay. So I usually use this one. This is uh, like it gives me like a little bit softer result. Sometimes this or sometimes this. So this uh, one is basically known as Gaussian. So Gaussian is giving me quite good result here. Now texture. So if you will go on the texture, you can see that you can use different pattern and that pattern will be applied on your impose option. So I have here different option here. Maybe you can see that I have a grass here. So you can choose grass or maybe you can choose here this one. This is a rough grass and you can see it is applying that effect on it. So I can scale the size, reduce the size. I can increase the depth, increase the depth. So it will blend with it. But I will just uncheck it. I don't like. Okay. So this is how the bevel will look like. Now if I will press OK, you can see that it shows me FX option. That means that indicates that a layer style is applied on it. And you can you can see how many layer styles are applied. You can apply more than one layer style. So if you don't want to see these, you can uncheck. You can hide them or unhide them. Okay. Now let's apply some more on the old man. And this time I will apply two. So let's go to the stroke. So if I will go to the stroke, it's simple. It will give me this kind of a stroke here. So you can choose a stroke color. So I like yellow, which is good. Maybe you can make it white if you want, black if you want. I think if I will go and take the background color and make it a little darker, that would also be good. Okay. Apart from this, you can increase the size of the stroke, decrease the size of. Now there are two different kind of positioning. Inside, the stroke will be inside the image. Okay, outside, image will be outside the image. Then center, that means half it is inside, half it is outside. Sometimes I use center, sometimes I use inside, depending on what I need. Now, here there is blending mode. I showed you before there is a blending mode, but this blending mode is actually for the stroke only. So if I'm going to change these, so you can see only stroke blending is affecting. So you can affect the blending of the stroke also. And there is an opacity of the stroke. So less opacity of the stroke, more opacity. So I have applied stroke here. Now, apart from that, you can check all of them one by one and see what kind of different result they're producing. So I can apply two stroke at the same time. Okay. So I can press stroke here and there will be another stroke. Okay. So I can go to this stroke. The one which is on the top, I will go on that, change its color to yellow. Okay. And this time I will not choose center. I will choose outside. So you can see the one which is under is half showing. Let's go to the one which is under, and instead of changing it to keeping it to center, I will keep it inside. So this one is showing inside and this one is showing outside. So I can go here, I can make it bigger or smaller. Maybe I can make it a little bit more bigger. Okay. Now I can add one more, and the new one I will change the color to red and change its structure, its position to center. And you can see it is in center now. So I can decrease the size of it. Okay. And you can see all of them are now showing. Okay. That's how you can apply different sort of effects here. So let's make it outside instead of center. Now I have how many? 1, 2, 3 strokes. So you can have 3 strokes. Also, you can have other uh, like layer effects also. Like suppose I want inner shadow also. So I can go to the inner shadow, okay, and apply an inner shadow or 100% opacity or maybe 80, 75, something like that, so it is visible. Size, you can see that it is showing me the size of it. Okay, I think 100 I will make it. Then distance, where you want this to be, maybe here. Or if you want to change the angle, you can also change the angle. But if you notice, if I'm changing the angle of the light for this layer style is also changing. Just notice that, right? The reason is that because the global light is on. Global light means light for the whole scene. You can keep that so that everything is uniform. Or if you don't want, you can uncheck this. And when I will move this, you can see that only the light for this is, or for this image is only. I can also move with my mouse, which I usually do. I can go a little bit here and reduce the opacity a bit. Change the size a bit here. You can see a nice inner shadow effect I am getting. Maybe a little bit. So I think it's more convenient. Okay, you can see how it will look like after to show you the preview. So a nice way of doing that. And if you will see here, let me turn this one, uncollapse it with this arrow. You can hide or unhide the layer style. I have only applied bevel emboss on this image. Here I have applied strokes, different strokes. I can hide any one of these strokes just to see which stroke is what. And also I have this inner shadow. So I can hide all the strokes or I can show a few of them. And I can go back again by clicking here and apply more. Suppose I want to apply outer drop shadow. So I can just go to the drop shadow and I can apply a drop shadow here. So drop shadow with a small size, okay, and distance a little bit outwards. And I will uncheck this global light. I will use my own light here. So I can move around with my mouse and you can see this thing. So I like to move with the mouse. It's more easier. And so kind of looks good. And what else we have in as effect in the in the Photoshop is basically the filters. So filter is a completely different like a topic. So hopefully, because like today, if I will go through the filter, it will take another 1 hour, and I don't want that. So hopefully by next class we will cover the filter. And once we are done with the filter, so your Photoshop part, your multimedia element related to image and text will be finished. And then we will quickly move to the audio, which is the another element, which is another important element of multimedia. So is everything clear? I can also move this layer. If I go to the old man, I can move this layer. And you can see it is moving with the affected. So if you have any question, just let me know. Any question, anything you have? Okay, then we'll meet uh, next class and we will cover the part that is remaining and we'll continue from there. So until then, keep working on the projects that are given to you, and we'll meet in the next. So take care, everyone, and enjoy the rest of. You're welcome.